right now. Jump on that morning show. New continuing education requirements. Okay. So starting January 1st, don't get bristly. They're putting it into the existing hours, right? But it's starting January 1st, 2023 or later. We'll have agents who are starting January 1st, 2023 or later will have to complete the following courses in addition to the current continuing education required courses. That's implicit bias course and fair housing course. Renewal requirements are the following: 4 separate 3-hour courses in ethics, agency, trust fund handling, and risk management, and 3-hour course in fair housing, which must be included must include a participatory component where the licensee will role play as both consumer and real estate professional, and then a 2-hour course in implicit bias. Maximum of 18 hours for consumer protection courses, and of course the renewal fees. So I can't do the math on that. It's the same amount of hours. It's just they put in these two extra components: the fair housing component and the 2-hour course on implicit bias. And I guess anyone who hasn't taken those courses previously will have to take both those courses.
But it's upon your renewal.
That's
right. Okay.
That's awesome.
Just
you don't expire in 2023.
Well, and
You
this is
have to take them?
the next time.
Yeah.
The next time.
Yeah, like in 4 years. And what is that? What is that? What is that?
Role play means that you have to actually speak the words correctly on both sides of the equation. You have to understand what those I think they're very, very complex conversations. I mean, yesterday we just came up with another little twist in that when someone calls on a lease and asks for do you accept Section 8, if you give them a no or no equivalent, that there's going to be a lawsuit, right? Because apparently you cannot judge based on the need for Section 8. What I brought up is Section 8 housing has to be approved housing by Section 8 machine, right? You have to be registered in the Section 8 machine. So I was like, oh, well, you could say something to the effect of, this house is not registered with Section 8. This house is not compliant with Section 8 as it stands now. But there's language that can get you into trouble, and we have to be cognizant of it.
Yeah, when I get those calls all the time on leases, and
Yes,
Hold on.
sorry.
Now
Now I have to say
I know.
cooperative
Compliance with
registered Section 8.
Yeah.
But
So
but I've had Section 8 listings before, and it's a total different thing. Like, yes, absolutely, building has to be also registered, approved for Section 8. The applicant has to be also approved for Section 8.
But is it something, because I was reading about it after your note yesterday, is it something where if you say this building isn't approved for Section 8, but the applicant is, are you required to go through the process of getting approved?
Because you can say that the building does not qualify as a Section 8.
well,
What would be
I don't
the
even
answer to that?
I don't even know if you have to go that far.
Process of actually applying,
Right.
getting approved,
Right.
and it's not an easy process, but it's also an annual process that they have to do. They have to qualify every year, so does the applicant. So it's not a one-time shot,
I just wonder if because the context of that text thread was that people are trolling.
Yeah.
For the
Right,
law.
it's like ADA compliance.
Right, so
yeah.
does that language actually cover us?
I can't imagine
The
it
question.
force you to go through the Section 8 process.
Yeah.
So you just say it is not currently
Right.
Section 8.
So you're not.
Ask Peter Haven then?
Well, it's so new. David and Neil even, he's like, oh, we won't know for a couple of weeks of how this will really play out and
Okay.
what the dynamics.
No, that
are.
was about the eviction.
That was
That
about
was
the
different. That was a
moratorium.
different threat. That was about the
thing.
eviction moratorium.
Oh, I
We
thought-
had a lot going on yesterday on the text.
Stefan put in an article, I think, in the chat also. Yeah, I still think it's also a new law, and how it really plays out in real life is going to be, a couple of years ago, just, for newer agents, there are opportunist lawyers who will take a new law and, we've had everything from ADA compliance of websites,
Cost like $600 a
right,
year.
which costs people money. And then there is there was, denying anyone who has a service dog, a no pets thing on leases. That was another one where they were just like trolling, oh, do you accept pets? Oh, you don't accept pets? Oh, I have a service dog. Oh, let me go ask the owner. Oh, the owner says no to any kind of dogs, right? And then what happens is we get sued. And so there are people who actually troll on these new items to catch agents or agency or anybody with money
It's a nasty job.
Yeah.
You know?
People are nasty. Humans can be wrong.
They're a little better.
Humans can be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then the easiest thing is to pay them off, because when you go to,
Right.
right, isn't that the whole problem, right?
that's,
Yeah. They're wanting everyone to do that.
For you to settle it before it gets to be.
5K today or 20 grand tomorrow, right? Yeah. Cedric says managing apartment complex, he deals with this kind of stuff every day. Cedric, you can speak if you have something to add to the conversation.
Oh yeah, it really just there are laws that are protecting, of course, of the people who are Section 8 and emergency housing people who are trying to gain housing quickly, but they have to. There's only a certain amount of money that they're getting, and it's based on the type of unit that they are trying to apply for. So if they want a studio, the voucher that they're going to get is only going to be up to $1,660. If they want one bedroom, it's up to $1,924, 2-bedroom, $2,452, and so forth. And for instance, I get a lot of times where the complex that I manage is all studio building, and there are people who want to move in, but their voucher is for a 1-bedroom, and the prices that our studios are listed at are above what they would get if they were wanting a studio, if they were able to get a studio voucher. So therefore, for instance, our studios are going for $1,750. Well, the most they're going to get based on this payment standards is $1,660 for a studio. So they wouldn't qualify for one of the units with our building. So I go through that constantly, and it's sad because there are a lot of people who really need homes, and the system isn't set up properly for them to actually get what they're needing.
Yeah. Thanks, Cedric. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Section 8 is a whole different conversation. Yeah, it's a very complex metrics of voucher. It's a voucher system for rents where that pays the owners directly, but usually not enough. Great, thanks, Cedric. All right, and as this is the easy part here. This is continuing education. It will come up for you. They're just making you aware that you need to take these classes.
So there's nothing that's going to come down with this that says if your license doesn't expire for another 2 or 3 years, that you have to take these classes before then? Or you don't know?
Didn't we just have to do ethics standalone?
You have to do
Yeah.
those ethics
We did
every
ethics
2 years.
standalone. Every how many years?
Every year.
Every 2 years.
Yeah. So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
That's the ethics, yeah.
Okay.
So it's not when your license is removed.
Yeah, mine just happened to coincide.
Yeah,
So
the DRE role.
How do they know if you role play? Like you send in a video?
Well, that's any kind of continuing ed moving forward must have that component to it. So whatever it is, if you're taking it at a school or you're taking it through the board, the board does offer free continuing education classes. and actually Eileen
I took it.
thought it was a great,
No, she had that, I took the one that you had
Oh, I
recommended,
thought she
that,
did
what was it,
the-
Rebay or something?
she did the board. It was like a
No, it was
weekend,
a
right?
online thing.
Right, so she took the class one day at the board, half a day at the board. That filled the whole 40 hours. Oh,
So Joey, I did, so like, I'm curious, like mine is coming up in a few months, like, so my understanding from what you guys have been talking about, that these like continuing renewal requirements are gonna be offered through CAR or through
It was
GLAR or,
so it's up through the board for free. You get to get it through the board for free, and they're saying any other outside CE classes or class providers have to have these two components in it.
There's like that first two.
So if you go to the board, they'll definitely have it in it. But if you're going to an outside class, then they have to make sure they have these two components in it, starting in January. The fair housing component and the implicit bias component.
Dragon, I think it had an apple symbol on the icon when the test was taken or whatever on the website. When you look up to take it, so you know.
yeah, I haven't even gone yet to check, like I was just gonna go to, like whatever, like the board.
Try the board first. All
Yeah.
right, but we're going down a rabbit hole.
Moving on.
Let's go. Next is Brooks Caravan, 11 to 2. Samantha is here and I am here, and we saw, I actually, they went out in Culver City yesterday, right? You guys went in Culver City? And I did around here. There was tons of stuff on the market. I had to,
Did you see
between,
Lorraine?
yes, you did see Lorraine. Yeah.
Pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
Interesting house.
Well, yes, yeah. Cat Von D's, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think I did, they have this is like the third.
I hadn't seen it before.
I hadn't seen it before either, but this is the third agent on it, I think. They keep it down a little bit, right? Is this a new agent on it?
No, I think they're
Dropping the price.
And they just keep dropping, yeah, it was a whole show.
So
She
Joy,
was there,
were they mostly new or are they repeating Brokers Open?
a little bit of both, 50-50. 50-50, I'd say, were on the market already, and 50% were new listings. Yeah, there was definitely some new stuff. So get out there, get started. Everybody's anxious to interact with each other. Important piece of knowing your inventory. All right, 11 to 2 every Tuesday. Gary's keeps getting closer. October 6th, that is tomorrow, right? Is it the 5th?
Yep.
Tomorrow, sign up for the Profit Share Summit. That is like a half a day program. Gary and Linda McKissick. Linda McKissick, just so you know, I think last year her and her husband made about $1.4 million off of Profit Share. Yeah, doesn't. It's just from
Not bad.
it's just building downline. Yep.
It's a big downline.
That's a big downline. Well, you never know who you are recruiting, right? Chris Brotman recruited Paul and Eddie. Right? You never know. It's been there for him. All right. And those guys don't do a great job of building their downlines. Jeff Yarborough, tomorrow, no, I'm sorry, October 19th, next Wednesday, between 1 and 3, is doing a selling luxury class at the Director's School, DGA.
Two Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What's that?
No,
Two Wednesdays. Oh, 2 Wednesdays
now.
from now, October 19th, 1 to 3. It's basically Fairfax and Sunset. There's parking included and everything. 27 seats left, but you do have to register for it. All right. He was going to come because he had more seats left, And then he's like, oh, we only got 27 left. So he's left it to me to sell, right? There's the registration right there in the chat. And it's also in the daily update. Yes. Yes.
To the thing on like building your business, but also like building business and keeping your clients and dealing with them. He was awesome. And one of the takeaways I remember from him was when he said I don't know if it was once a month, but it may have been once a quarter, he would go do something by himself, whether it was a art opening or something, he had to meet people, just put himself out there. And it's just that I've done it a few times, and it is amazing how like kind of put yourself in that position, and you start engaging and really saying, oh, it's super natural.
Especially if you're curious about other people.
Yeah.
They're going to respond to you with some level of curiosity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great role. He's really good, and he's very successful. He's been doing real estate for probably 30 years, I would say, and he does it really well. And he's really elegant, and he's he makes it look really smooth, it's because it's authentic, and what we all aspire to do. So yeah, highly recommend Jeff's class next. Oh, it's not next, but on the 19th. Register, get those last 27 seats. Top today. Oh, the morning show.
Oh, it's so lovely.
Doesn't learn only just like her.
My hair's not straight, and wow, my head is really big.
They were drawings.
I love it. I love it. They're cartoons.
They were.
So join us in the morning. I mean, we really talk about some interesting things. We get into the daily stoic and how to handle issues that are real estate or personal, not too personal. It's just a great way to start your day, get you on the right track, get your juices flowing, know that there are people in this office that are here to support you. It's a great thing.
Mindset, inspiration. Clint's a fan.
Andy's a fan.
I'm a
too.
fan.
Andy's a fan. Charlotte's
Charlotte's a fan. Van's a
I'm a
fan.
fan.
I mean, it's Fanny.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yeah, get on there. It's a gift.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank
Chris.
you.
All right, next we have Christie's classes starting. They started the third. The new round of Ignite started on the 3rd. Let's go to the 28th, and that's from 10 to 11:30 every day. Also, Christy does a Words at Work, which is script practice, and she has an open lead generation line on Zoom from 9 to 10 every morning. So you can get on there and do your lead generation with the volume turned down, and just kind of have people who are doing the same activity as you. She checks in halfway through, and then she kicks you off with little, motivational piece, and then checks in halfway through, and you get to do it in a group setting, virtual group setting. Right? I think it's a good idea. All right. Next we have maybe. There you go. Tech is Smart Plans tomorrow. Create flyers and listing presentations on Friday. Maybe we're off a day. Today is the 5th. Smart Plans was today. Create flyers and listing presentations tomorrow. Also websites on Friday. DocuSign on Monday. Command Overview always on Tuesday. And then Consumer App Overview, which I think is a great tool, on Tuesday. Next week. The lovely Rich Pisani will be teaching the disclosures part 2. I knew we couldn't get through that. I knew we couldn't get through those disclosures in one class, but he's doing a part 2 today between 4 and 5 on the Zoom, and he will go over the second part of disclosures. If you missed the first one, we have it recorded, and just jump into the second one. There's nothing like being part of a conversation about it also, because the disclosures, our contracts in general are very, there's lots of nuance to it. And the better you understand it, the more masterful you can articulate that to your client, and the more you can use it to your client's advantage.
And part one is already up for us to watch.
I believe it's,
One, two, today.
excuse me?
You're gonna send part one and two.
Oh, okay, he's gonna send them both together. So part one is not up, I'm sorry. Thanks, Satate. All right. Also, how to use ClearMark Title, the mobile app, I assume that's you then.
That's me, yeah. So, this Friday, 12:30, via Zoom, I will be going over our app that allows you to do property profiles,
We were
farms,
just talking about it on the
and
morning.
sheets.
We were.
Yeah, so
Tracy
thank you
was,
for that.
telling how she used, talking about how she used, maybe not the mobile app, but the
Toolbox.
toolbox, which is a separate, computer-based app.
Computer-based app, but that also has a mobile app as well, so.
That one, is correct. Excellent. Yeah. So what are some of the things that the app does?
So the app does, again, everything that the desktop does, so mostly uses like net sheets, we can do that, we can do farms, walking farms, we can do property profiles.
All access,
All
through-
access.
all through the mobile app, correct? Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, well, it's a great tool to have, you must have. It's a must-have tool. Andy?
I was told I have to get closer to the camera. I don't
Oh,
know.
right there, it's okay, sit in that chair right there.
Okay.
I think, right, does that see, you get to see Andy on that one?
Can you guys see her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can they see me? I mean, not that it
Yeah.
matters. Okay.
That's.
Not that it matters.
It does.
Hi, everybody. I wanted to touch on, one key thing that's happening right now. I've talked ad nauseum about inflation, the market rates, what it means, what it looks like, what does recession mean for real estate, all of that. With that said, with all of these things that I've talked about for the last, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, large banking institutions are starting to pull back the reins. They're adjusting their appetite based on current market conditions for the types of loans that they're after. Wells Fargo, for instance, just cut their loan to value by 5%. So when you're out there and you're talking to your clients, and of course, everybody is rate sensitive. Certainly it can look really shiny and really pretty next door, but be conscious of the appetite is shifting big time. With the loan to value cuts, also come appraisal cuts. They are trying to minimize risk in this very weird market.
So they're, correct me if I'm wrong, appraisals are getting tighter, right? On
Right.
valuation, and loans are getting, the loan to value is getting, the loan to value ask is getting greater. They're wanting you to have more skin in the game, but they're pulling back on the actual interest rate.
Well, so the loan to value for anybody that doesn't know, or loan to value is somebody's appraised value. So we're talking about a buyer specifically. If a buyer goes under contract, we as the lender or the bank are going to loan on either the purchase contract price or the appraised value, whichever is lower. So if you're under contract at 1.5 and it appraises at 1.4, there's $100,000 gap there. The loan is going to be based on the lower of the two, the 1.4, which means your client then, their loan amount adjusts because the appraised value has dropped, right? Banks are lowering their loan to value guidelines. So Wells Fargo, for instance, if they were willing to go to 80% or require 20% down on, let's say, a jumbo loan, they've now lowered it to 75%. That means your buyer has to automatically come in with an extra 5% for that super shiny rate that they'll probably refinance in a year anyways. But in addition to that, if you're looking at an appraisal cut, not only are they bringing in an extra 5%, but now they've got to make up and cover that gap if that seller is not willing to negotiate. So,
In that equation,
yeah. So
Are the banks asking the appraisers to come in more conservatively? Is that what you're saying?
you can't legally do that.
Well,
What
that's I
happens
was
is in the review process, every lender is going to have a review process. It's a little more lenient when it comes to conventional loans and so forth, but on a jumbo level in particular, you know, if I'm personally loaning somebody $1 million, I'm gonna wanna make sure that my collateral is worth what they're telling me it's worth. I wanna make sure that the collateral, because the loan is based on the client and it's based on the property. I'm gonna make sure that I do my due diligence and make sure that that appraiser didn't do any typos or used actual comps. See, I've seen it 1,000 times. Appraisers go 2 miles from the property. Well, we all know that Larchmont Village to, you know,
But you just go from.
Beverly Center is different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, that the metrics changes.
yeah. So every lender, every bank, everybody's gonna do an appraisal review, especially in this market, to make sure that the comps are correct, there's no typos, and to make sure that the property meets lending guidelines.
Sometimes called a desktop,
A desk review, right?
desk review.
So when nobody can influence the value or appraiser, or the bank's not calling the appraisal at all, the appraiser. When it comes in for review, once it's delivered to the lender or the bank is going to do a thorough review on it. That investor, that bank can absolutely cut value and go, we don't think it's worth 1.5, we think it's worth 1.4.
Wait a minute.
They-
So if-
yeah, that's what's growing
So if
here.
An appraiser comes in and says, I value this at purchase price 1.5.
Yeah.
A bank reviewer can actually
Reduce.
reverse
Correct.
that value.
No, can't reverse the value. They come in with their own value.
Correct. The review
So they're
process,
saying banks reviewer supersede the appraisal
100%.
value.
100%.
Was that ever done? Right?
Yes.
Yes.
All the time. Desktop
Happens
appraisals,
to
all the
my
time,
properties.
all the
It's-
time.
It's always been in place. It's just now, based on where the market is, it's becoming a bigger thing because nobody wants to stick their neck out and lend on something that isn't worth what somebody's saying it's worth, right? And so they're covering their tails by doing extra reviews and getting a little tighter on reviews.
So the bank cannot affect the independent appraiser's appraisal, but they can affect the desktop appraisal, right? And so in that, they could say, well, our parameters for this are tighter, or we want you to be more conservative in your estimations on the desktop appraisal, right? And that's and that's after a while that starts to signal the appraisers to like, whoa, maybe we need to tighten the reins a little bit. Maybe you have to look at that a little closer. If all of your appraisals are getting kicked back on desktop appraisals as being overvalued, then then that signals to the appraisers, oh, the banks are looking at this in a little tighter. I need to start getting a little tighter. So it's not a direct communication of, is that
Right.
correct? Is that,
Right.
does that,
Yeah, the appraisal management
it
company.
doesn't take long for the appraisers to get.
Well, and also too, appraisers, especially now, can't afford to stick their necks out.
Yeah, there's less
We
business.
keep them already, but when.
There's less business, but they can lose their license. They get on the do not call list, and it's not a good situation for an appraiser. So
So from a practicality perspective, if you're in contract and you have contingencies, you have an appraisal contingency and you get your appraisal back and it comes in at value.
Mhm.
And then this happens.
That's a very good.
Yeah.
question.
How,
What
or
if
do
you
you
moved it?
hold off until you have the bank review, or do you then, is this become part of your loan contingency?
yeah, I will
The
tell
new
you,
Contracts are written on the same day, which I find a bit silly, but,
I will tell you, I always err on the side of caution, especially if we're talking about jumbo financing. Alex and I just went through this on her client that we closed. The appraisal came in. Cool, it came in over value, over the purchase price. Great, and Alex said it's in, can we remove contingencies? Absolutely not. Not on my watch. We're gonna wait until that review's done, because if they have questions about the comps, or maybe it could be something as simple as maybe the water heater wasn't strapped and there's no smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. If there are conditions of the appraisal review, we need to get those in. If they're minor, great, no problem. I'm happy to remove the contingency. It could be something major.
Yeah, I just got something appraised and the appraiser comped it with the property that closed last year. which is a different market.
100%.
Yeah, and, yeah, so definitely there was a lot of typo errors that the appraiser, that we caught after the report was submitted. And so we appealed, obviously, but, you know, like.
If the lender had advised you to remove contingencies with just having
No, she
received the
did not
report.
advise, but I did tell her contingency removal is this Friday, so I need to get an actual accurate answer
Yeah.
before that.
Clint, you had a question?
Yeah, when this issue with the lender happened, let's say we're talking about a property in Los Angeles under contract, and the lender happens to be in Arizona. But that also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the thing about appraisals is back in 2008, 2009, all the regulations for appraisals changed because what was happening prior to the great crash, I could have literally called up any appraiser. He could have been related or a best friend or whatever. I could have called the appraiser and said, hey, listen, my agent's under contract at 123 Larchmont Boulevard. We're under contract at $1.5 million. Can you do the report? And they'd go out and do it. Since the great crash, the regulations are put in place. The bank or lender or credit union, who's ever doing the financing, has zero contact with the appraisal company or the appraiser. What happens is when we place the order for the appraisal, it goes to a third-party appraisal management company. That appraisal management company has lists and lists and lists of approved appraisers that have submitted their licensing information and insurance and all of the things. The appraisal management company is responsible for actually placing the order. It goes into their system and it's randomly selected by an appraiser. If an appraiser is available, they'll go in and grab the assignment. It's not like, we like Joey because he's a good appraiser in the area. Nobody has any control. Oh, yeah. The list gets updated all the time. Yes, it changes all the time.
So do you suggest when we're writing contracts that we extend the appraisal contingency to meet with the loan contingency date and then lift them simultaneously to?
I think it depends who you're working with.
But it also depends on what property and what type of terms of competition that you're facing too, right?
I think, yeah.
There's still pockets of areas that are still getting multiple offers.
Yeah.
Still close to go back.
No, I'm just saying in a situation where we do have a little bit more leverage for our buyers. That's the last thing we want is to lift an appraisal contingency and then have the lender question it.
I think the best thing that anybody can do, if whoever you're working with from a lending perspective, ask them what their review turn time is. If it's a bank, if it's a lender, if it's a credit union, getting the appraisal is one thing. Ask what their review time is, because that all needs to be factored into whatever contingency timeline they can offer.
It's not enough to say I have a 17-day appraisal contingency. Can you get it all reviewed and buttoned up in 17 days?
Yeah, I mean, that's one way of
I don't
phrasing it. Yeah.
But
You want to ask about the review process, because I think a lot of agents maybe think that just because the appraisal is received, that you're good to go and it's signed off. And just because value comes in at the contract price, you're good, you're ready to go, you're ready to remove contingencies. And there is very much a behind the scenes process. And especially now in this market, it could get a little sticky.
Yeah.
I think that's what's important with the refining. Every time I closed, I as a buyer agent went seller agents and see. I met the appraiser, asked all kinds of questions. Is there any repairs? He was asking all kinds of questions. I was like,
he was asking you questions.
yeah, but it's
That seems a little bit going out of your lane, asking about repairs. Yeah.
I know. And that was like, I answered this as truthfully as I could. I have to prompt it. You need them, you probably already have the same ones. And he said, yep, I have the same ones, and came in over.
55,000 over.
Yeah, he's-
But the
he
bank,
sounds like-
but
he
the
sounds
lender,
like an
but the
anomaly.
lender didn't like
Sounds
that.
like an anomaly.
No, we didn't, no, it was fine.
Oh, it was fine.
It was fine. It came
I think one of the
over.
things with appraisals, especially if you're representing buyers, is don't assume that the listing agent's gonna go to bat for you to find those conflicts.
Right.
Because appraisers only talk to the listing agent.
Yeah.
So when I'm a listing agent, when they make an appointment, I always ask them right then and there, it's like, hey, do you mind? Would it be okay if I provided some feedback on comps? Would you accept that? And they usually most likely say yes. So which is great, but they will not accept it from a buyer's agent. So if you're representing a buyer, the best thing to do is work with the listing agent so that making sure that that individual is proactive. Don't assume that they're gonna do that work for you, because they could care less sometimes and say, hey, look, you came in, you knew that you have to make up the difference, you know, and so on and so forth. So you may not have a way to back out, or your clients may be in a pickle because they have to make up that margin of difference of the value, right? So
Yeah.
I assumed this listing agent would do his job, and I found out that he didn't. So now I have, that's why we're in the appeal right now, but again, so.
You assumed he would do the job the way you would do the job, right? No, and I say that meaning that some people don't know that that's part of the job.
Well, that's a
Some
listing
people
agent, you want the value to come in.
Absolutely.
So that.
Why would a listing, of course.
Right, but there are a lot of agents who don't do that. I mean, Open Door just puts all of their properties on lockbox and gives the lockbox combination to.
But they don't even give the right
appraiser.
determination.
Yeah, and that too, but I mean, a lot of these listing agents are not meeting with these.
I've encountered that more and more, that you really don't have, I mean, I always have a conversation with the listing agent when, right before appraisal, making sure that they're being proactive about it. But when I don't have that conversation, I've come to shoot myself in the foot.
I've had that conversation and they said, I'm not meeting with the.
Yeah, they don't show up.
So.
Yeah.
What you want. So, yeah,
Get in there and make a mess of
So-
yourself.
yeah.
Just beware. Things are fluid, guidelines are changing. Banks are pulling the reins back a little bit.
In transitioning markets, when markets are changing from good to bad, bad to good, okay to great, to okay to bad, there's always, you know, the defects always pop up, right? And the different, and people's, you know, banks change the way they look at properties. Buyers change the way they look at properties. You have to be cognizant of all those little micro conversations and know how to manage it to get the result that you want to get.
Yeah.
There are advantages in that too. You know, being someone who's being someone who shows up and meets the appraiser and has a good dialogue and creates a connection with them and is able to contribute to to his understanding of the property is invaluable.
Yeah.
Right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And lastly, really quick, I sent out, so I was on a call on Friday with Barry Habib. I've talked about him forever. He's my go-to. Anyway, we had a conference call with him, exclusive to Movement, on Friday. Really, really, really great content. And one of our market leaders in Movement did a video on it. I forwarded it to some of you on Instagram. It's amazing. Feel free to share it to your clients, or maybe not your clients, share it wherever.
Or lift the information and repeat it based on where you heard
Totally.
it from, because it's long and it gets a little bit more detailed, but I think your clients are really gonna want it.
But it's everything that we've been talking about for months and months and months. And it breaks it down to a pretty user-friendly level. So that's all. If you're not on Instagram or whatever, I'm on there, find me, I'll forward it.
Excellent. Thank you, Andy.
Yay.
All right, what do we have next? Tate. Did we lose you? Is
Hello?
Waha?
Hi.
Waha, say hi.
Hey, girl.
Hi. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
Yay, okay. So as an important note, please be sure to hand in your fully executed contracts and any accompanying paperwork as soon as you open escrow. Please no later than 5 days from opening escrow. It's very important that you submit everything to command, so it gives us time to audit your file. If you have a new listing, please submit your listing agreement no later than 2 days from getting it signed. That way it also gives us time to mention it during these meetings so that you can talk about it during these meetings as well. And also for us to make sure everything is in compliance. The files need to be complete in advance of check disbursement. So please make sure that you have all the necessary documents ahead of time so that it doesn't cause any delays getting your checks. I know when you close, we all want you to get paid as soon as you close. So please help us make that possible for you. So just a note, if you have any questions on how to upload things onto Command, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to help. Any questions, just let me know.
All right, new escrows within 5 days, new listings within 2 days.
Yes, please.
Get that initial paperwork uploaded into Command, right? And
Yes.
Is that green sheet or?
So green sheet is also,
necessary.
Brian, if you want to, is Brian on?
Yeah, he's on there.
Yeah, so Brian, if you want to let them know within what time, as soon as possible, so that, he can work on the breakdown and he has the time. If anything changes with the purchase price, or if you guys, any credits that are due, just to let him know as soon as possible. And you can do the green sheet or commission breakdown through Command as well. That's where you add all that information. You could do it early on, and then if anything changes, just to let him know. So just as soon as possible.
Yeah, the idea is we want you to get paid as soon as the check comes in, right? So, and that's usually day of. And I'm sure that you want to get paid on that day too. So, but compliance has to happen. Raha has to make sure that the file is complete, and Brian needs to make sure that the green sheet is filled out properly. So do us all a favor and get that in as quickly as possible. Thanks, Raha.
Thank you.
All right, sweetie. Raha June. Next, we have Ben. Yes. Get in there, Ben.
All right, just real quickly,
Sit in the hot seat. Mixing this hair.
so yeah, just real quickly regarding the Title II block tutorial, all this talk about buyers and sellers and where we're getting them right. So one, of course, we had that farm component, but also it has leads where it tells you based on the AI on what we call next sellers, who the system thinks is going to sell next based on where they live and the time. So every neighborhood where you live, where I live, is always going to be different. And then also there's the empty nesters. That's for like people that's been in their homes around 30 years plus. That way these residents or these owners are going to be moving soon and or so on. So keep that in mind. 12:30 Friday, and see you guys there.
Excellent.
Yay.
All right. And I didn't realize it had predictors in there.
Yeah.
Too. That's excellent. All right. And is anyone on from Larchmont in there? Oh, Mary Kay. How's it going, Mary Kay? Hey,
Hi, everyone. I was going to come in person, but I have a little bit of a flu, so I didn't want to come in. It's not COVID. It's just a regular flu. So I wanted to let you know, guys, please be careful when your buyers are choosing inspection companies. I know sometimes we feel like, let them go on. If they're going to go on their own, I have no liability, which is not true, because even if they go on their own, and if they call the inspection company and say, look, there's problems, they can easily say, I have a clipboard in a truck. I don't need any, I don't have anything. I can't do anything else. And they come back to you guys. So besides that, the buyers now are negotiating. They're giving us a call. All they care is a price. How much do you charge? If you start talking about any kind of qualifications, they go, yeah, we know everybody has that. And they don't even want to listen to it. And they want the cheapest price. So what I would suggest you, if your buyer is going to go on their own, please make sure to give them your preferred vendors. And also, please make sure, give them our website. I will put it in the chat again. It's a website that it's an educational website, gives them a sample report, talks about qualifications, and also talks about what does the inspector inspect. videos in writing. It's a beautiful website that my son designed with one of the best, designers of websites. This way, and then CC to you. So in case if they go on their own and they come back and say, look, this inspector, blah, 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 whatever the situation is, you have something in writing that you did train them, you did tell them, hey, go do your homework, because this industry is not controlled by the state. And now more than ever, they're giving us a call and asking us if we can do an inspection for something that's closed already, escrow is closed. And I would ask them, why would you want to do it now? And they said, because the inspector who did the inspection, we had so many problems. We're calling him back. They're not calling us back. So now we want to have one that's a legit one, and we want to go back and sue. So, and then I don't get involved with, if they signed anything, but even if they signed all the waivers, just remember the attorneys are advising us to tell you guys that they come back and say, well, I didn't know, it was too many things I signed. So please make sure, send them an email, separate email, send our website, or even if it's not our website, just say, look, you're going on your own. Please make sure to ask the certain questions. Are they licensed? Do they have insurance, any insurance? Do they have any experience? Please do that, because you did your homework. If they do anything, if they go to court, the judge can see that and say, look, these people, they gave you education. They told you what to do. Why are you blaming them? So that's coming more and more, especially the ones who didn't do inspection during the crazy times. They're just like, oh, wow, I didn't know. I didn't know what I signed. So let's be careful with that, huh? You go with us, you don't have to worry about it. You sleep at night. Just give them our number. We do your inspection. You don't have to even worry for a second if they're going to come back to you.
Thank you,
Love
Mary.
you guys all very much.
I'm going to just add on to the concept of value, right? I just had an agent who was buying their own property, who was, who I referred to an inspection company, Mary, and they're like, oh, is it supposed to be that much? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's the price. You could surely find somebody cheaper, but don't be confused of what value is not always money, right? If you have it done incorrectly, then it's going to cost you more money. If you have it done, by an inferior inspector, then that's going to cost your client more money. So value comes in lots of different ways other than financial pieces, right?
Yes, and of course, just remember that, by the way, we're not expensive. We should even.
No, by no means are you expensive.
No, I know how much you love us, and I know how much you appreciate us.
Yeah,
When the prices have gone up, the insurance companies, whoever is a legit company has insurance, they went up. They said, look, now if you're insuring you on an 800,000, now a simple house is 1 million or over. You know what happened with the prices. So if they come back with a problem, the problem is not going to be worth maybe 50,000. Now they're going to sue you for
exactly.
80,000.
That's the point I was trying to make.
Exactly. So now we're paying even more and we're not charging for that, but we want to make sure you guys are safe and we're safe. So what the other companies are doing in order for them to get these inspections and compete with us, because they know nobody can compete with us. We're the best one, hands down, with the knowledge that we have. They are just chopping the prices down. They're charging a 2,000 square feet house, $250. I call them as a buyer and I'll ask them, hey, I want to do inspection. Can you send me your E&O insurance? They don't have it.
Yeah.
So they're just taking chances here and there. And please be careful. We are here for you. I know you love us. And the ones
We
who
love you, Mary.
Bye, Mary.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Mary.
I
much.
love you guys all very much.
All
Thank
right.
you. You're the best. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. All right, birthdays or new agents. New agents, look at that. Kayla, Melanie, Omar, Georgina, Alex, Latasha, Marcus, Alan, and Muriel. Welcome to you all. There's Melanie right here. All right, birthdays. Chloe Choi is today. Lance LaBelle is tomorrow. And then there's Gabriel, Rebecca, David Hitz coming up, Mandy, Russell Roney, and Merlin. We're gonna torture him a little bit with his birthday. I wish I still saved that dancing thing he did. Some years ago. I remember that. Closed escrows this week. Does that get any bigger? Christina Kim, congratulations, Christina, on David. Josh Mendoza on Moore Park, Anna Lee on Gramercy, Marisa Tranquilli on Encina, Eileen Lanza, Mister, on Moore Park also, and Tiffany Park. Congratulations, Tiffany. All right, new escrows, like to see that list. Bates Hennington on Bud Long, Tim on La whatever, I always mess it up. Adam and Lynn on Preston, the Barrentine Group on both Hayes and San Vicente. Eric Schulman on Mission Boulevard, and Lee on another one on Gramercy, and Mandy Zhao on Kaufman. Congratulations. Yay. Also, Alex Dion closed the lease this week. Alex, congratulations. Pete and Angelia. I thought I saw Angelia here too. And Chloe Kim, all at, and Jen Roa down at the bottom there. I don't know why there's a gap. Just to confuse me. New listings. What do we got going? Single family. Laura and Maury have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It looks like it's the duplex on Mansfield, 2,700 square feet. It even has a little outbuilding in the back there. They lowered it to 1,589. It's a great rental. It comes with a fully paid. It comes one vacancy and one leased up. Pete Bonacor has a 5-bedroom, 4-bath on June that I saw yesterday. That was lovely, lovely. 5,128 square feet for $6,750,000. Really lovely, old school, beautifully maintained. Charles and John have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,646 square feet on West 75th Street, and that's for $1,399. Some leases. What do we got? David Hitt has a lease on Redondo, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Not in the square feet, $4,500 a month for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. Looks like a lovely kitchen. Pocket listings coming soon. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Coming soon, pocket listings. Bring it.
Culver City.
Yep.
Townhome.
Yeah.
Complete remodel, net prestigious gated community. Adjacent to Pine Vista, above Foxville. I think I'm gonna be sending it out for 1.2.
1.2. Excellent.
3-bedroom, 3-bath, 4-car garage. But they included a storage area.
4-car garage?
4-car garage, but then it's basically essentially 2 because you put like storage, custom storage.
You built it in.
But if you can take out the storage.
It's a big space.
Yeah. for sure.
Jade.
It's a nice community.
Excellent.
What are the HOAs?
Active.
That's not crazy.
We are still, we're gonna take a lot of on. I did know. I thought we'd get off the chair. It's gonna take a lot.
Put it together.
Yeah.
Angelia has a townhome. She's going to write it in the chat. Okay, great. Thank you. Because you're in the back there. And nobody sees it. All right. Hold on a second. Hold on. Anybody else have any coming soons or pocket listings?
Dave just put
Dave.
one in the chat.
Pop that chat. Here, I got it. Here. All right. Let's see. Day has 849 East Desford in Carson. It's a pocket listing. It's 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,613 square feet. The lot is 5,079. It's a 2-story home near Carson Sheriff Station. If anybody has a sheriff that they want to find a house for $1 million. Thanks, Dave. All right. Once needs fill the bucket.
I want to fill the bucket.
Wow.
Chloe. I just want to thank our core services people for jumping on the 9 o'clock meetings. I mean, that is above and beyond. And then you guys, I mean, they have wonderful classes they're offering us, but to get a couple of their minutes of insight in the morning is just priceless. That's not something that I ever expected to see, and I really, really appreciate it. And no pressure, no pressure, but you encouragement, you can pop in, that's awesome.
Absolutely. No, it is, I hope, yeah. And hopefully it helps you in some way too, right?
Yeah.
It helps you kind of, connect, yes, but also you get to see the issues that agents are having in this moment too, from that perspective. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah, I agree. I double down on that. Anyone else wants, needs, fill the bucket? Any wants or needs? Christina?
So I want to thank our fearless leader, Joey.
Oh.
I was. Reminded me it was actually his bucket. Anyway, I had a situation where I needed to get some connections and some network going for off market inventory. He guided me to an individual who just kind of spread out the word, and I was able to collect roughly about, I think, like at least 10 to 12 off markets that I was able to present to my clients in the span of 3 days. And you guys know that inventory on the MLS is kind of scarce on like good inventory. And so he made me look like a rock star in front of my foreign clients. And so,
Especially in that price point.
yeah, so it was amazing. The service that we got from these listing agents based on, the off-market inventory. One of the agents actually brought wine, and they got my clients drunk last night. So it was fabulous. They invited us over to one of the properties that we went and revisited, and we got to hang out for like an hour and a half.
I love that.
Asked all of the questions that we wanted to ask as far as to the seller. They were very open about it. So it kind of just helped the whole process. And it was one of those where I was just prepping for like a couple of months, but I just didn't know how I was going to be able to pull it out of my hat. And Joey, the king of connectors, connected me to the right people and was able to really help me be successful.
That's
It's fun
awesome.
to be able to- It really is fun to be able to connect people with, the
Joey
right
knows everybody, so, and if you don't
And everybody
know them,
likes it too.
I love it.
I'm very likable.
How do we monetize that?
I know, right?
Good.
oh, you'll get
That's
Thank you, Christina. I adore it. All right, who else? Anybody else have a want or need they'd like to share? Fill the bucket? No? All right, if that is the case, then we're going to
Au revoir, tout à l'heure.
to opportunity. There you go. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week, right?
See you
All
then.
right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Oh.